And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I have friends that are firefighters and I know that they use soap.
And she was screaming at me over soup.
Fuck this, I am not ever talking to a Scientologist again. These people are all insane.
I'm putting my bricks in the dumpsters, motherfuckers. Do you see me, bitches? I'm throwing my bricks. And he's just like chucking bricks.
The cool S, otherwise known as the S thing. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you're going to want to Google that real quick. Welcome to a Talking Shit About Microsode, a little treat in between episodes where I, Elizabeth Wipperman, interview someone about something they love, something they hate, something they've been through, or something they just know a lot about, and hopefully by the end we've all learned something. Today, I'm going to give you a little history about the cool S, or again, the S thing. My main source for today was an unexpected find, the sthing.com, which has a timeline of the history of the cool S starting in BC times. The website also hosts a charity auction of cool S themed artwork to support Free Arts NYC, a link to download a cool S themed font, and an online shop which proceeds also go to Free Arts NYC. The S thing is not a sponsor of the show, I just think the site is cool as hell. Let's get into the history of the cool S. It's less of a mystery of where this style of S comes from, and more of a mystery of how we all came to learn to draw it using the exact same steps. Just for shits and giggles, at the end of today's microsode, I'll try to verbally walk you through on how to draw it, and you can watch me do it on Instagram or Facebook. And guys, it's really hard to do. I had a script, and then I was like, wow, this is really hard to understand. And then trying to describe what you're drawing in terms of lines, it's rough. I don't know how it's going to go for you as a listener if you've never drawn it before, but, have fun. Anyways, the first example of the cool S that the S Thing website gives is from 3300 BC by the Dacians, the ancestors to today's Romanians. The S of those days could, and can, be found adorned on fabrics and houses. Other places the early versions of the cool S later appear are Latvia, Korea in the Koryo dynasty, and the mosque and madrasa of Sultan Hassan in Egypt. More modern depictions of the cool S are the Suzuki logo in 1909, the logos of the rock band Styx and Sacred Reich in the 1970s and 80s, and many more that I'll let you check out on the S Thing website. Some folks also refer to the cool S as the Stussy S, after a clothing brand started in the 80s. However, the cool S has been drawn long before Stussy began using it, and some people also see it as the Superman logo, but I personally don't see it. So why do we love drawing the cool S, and why is it so widespread? Vice published an article in 2016 about the S thing, and to answer that question, I'd like to quote that article. Quote, Copley is a professor in language and media at Middlesex University in London. According to him, the theory that it was a hair metal symbol was also ridiculous. It's certainly not the Saxon logo, he said. Theirs was far more sharp and had a staff. Then he offered the most likely yet bland explanation of all. That is, it's fun to draw. The reason kids go through this is probably because it's a Mobius strip, he said, referring to the sort of looped one-surface shapes that M.C. Escher was fond of drawing. It can't be drawn continuously, but it does have a perpetual flow. I think he was onto something. Most 9-year-olds can't draw, so when someone hands them a magical recipe to create something fairly cool on demand, that'll go viral. End quote. I want to wrap up today's episode by attempting to walk you through on how to draw the cool S, so get a pen and paper. You can also follow along on my Instagram or Facebook. Okay, here we go. Alright, the first step is to draw 3 vertical lines, all the same length and all the same width apart. Then you're going to draw 3 lines exactly the same underneath with a little gap in between. So you should have 6 lines. Then you're going to connect the top left line to the bottom middle line using one diagonal line. Then you're going to do the same thing with the middle top line and the bottom right line. Next, you're going to create peaks at the top and bottom by connecting the far left and the far right lines on the top and bottom to make little teepees. So a point at the top, and a point at the bottom, and they should be over those middle lines. You're pretty close to having a finished S. Now we just need to close the ends. So you will take that open end on the right, make a diagonal line to touch halfway through that other diagonal line. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And hopefully you should have a cool S. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and if you did, please subscribe, give the show a rating, and check out my Patreon at patreon.com/talkingshitabout. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next month.